Hello, this is Esther Lamnyam again, founder of Imitate Nature Academy, where I teach you how to use simple laws, simple tools in nature, laws of nature, to create your desires and the lifestyle that you want. So far, we've been talking about cracking the code on creating, the path to a fulfilling life, cracking the code, the tools that you need to create a fulfilling life, create your desires, make your projects work. We've come to the end of the program, and I just wanted to revisit this little, worksheet that we had earlier. I want to talk a little bit about this as a bonus, like a little more gift to you for sticking with this program. And I want to approach it from the part of how to manage your life, how to get a very fulfilling life, just using this little table. There are a lot of programs out there on time management and on productivity. And I discovered this little tool years ago, and it's really been very beneficial to me. Like I said earlier, I don't necessarily have this in any area. I know if you are a feng shui expert, this will not be how you lay out the bagua or the design of the house or whatever you're working on. These are just areas of your life that we all have to work on every day. We all have to touch somehow. Earlier, when I talked about the systems of the body, you have the respiratory system, the digestive system, the circulatory system, your bones and the organs. All these areas work round the clock. They don't just work on the circulation and then the respiratory system sits down and say, okay, well, circulation is doing well. Let me just kind of hang out. All of them have to be working for you to be productive and move on. Same thing with nutrition. You need carbohydrates, you need your proteins, you need the oils, you need the minerals, the trace minerals, the vitamins, the amino acids. Once you have too much of one, you might end up with other problems or deficiency issues that end up causing other health issues. And that is, I'm using those as example, as a lip board to lip onto this little, to explain more about this. I found out that in life, we need to take care of the home environment, clean the house, make up the bed, vacuum, make sure that we are fixing what is broken. It's very time consuming, but we need that environment to be very clean and focused, because that's where we're going to dwell. You dwell in a trashy house, your body is a house also, you're going to have issues. Work, we all have careers and work or businesses that we have to go to. We need that to be able to take care of other areas and have leisure. We need leisure and creativity, in our lives, or else it becomes too much work, no play, you become stressed. Health and well-being, we need to make sure that our health, our nutrition is well taken care of, and that we have a peace of mind. Relationship with yourself, you need time for you, very, very important. Our relationship with family, we need time with family, we need time with our husbands and wives, our intimate ones, and other family and co-workers. We need time with the community. You could be an alma mater, there are different sorts of communities, the soccer team, you need time to do that, or to fellowship. Spirituality or religion, or we need that. Like all through this program is being, you are a spiritual being in the physical body. You actually need time for that. Finances, you need time for that. So in this few minutes, I want to talk to you about an approach on how to manage your time. That will be very, very beneficial. I started doing this years ago because I saw people who had the same number of hours in a day like myself, 24 hours, but they were creating a lot. They were running businesses, they had children, husband, wife, family, neighbors. They could still hang out, travel, teach, do a lot, and run businesses and all that. So I wanted to be able to be productive also, not just go to work, and do 2 or 3 things in my life. So what I found out is that a lot of people end up doing just a few things. They might end up, taking care of their home a lot, or some people just like their car, they gotta work on their car around the clock. Then they go to work, then they have some playtime, or they go to church. And then eventually their health is like all messed up, their finances are messed up, they become stressed, they've not been paying attention to how they're eating, so they might end up with ailments that become so difficult to fix. or the community that they're involved in. They lose track and lose touch of that community, which is also very healing, because the energy from here is very powerful, and then you can give a lot through this, or the end up with relationship issues. So one of the things to do is, if you went through this program, one of the things was to write your values. What are your values? So to get this life management guide, or I don't want to call it time management, because I don't really think you can manage time. It's really just life. Time is life to me. Write down what your values are. What are the 5 key things, like we talked about integrity, and I had said that should be the base, that should be like the water on which all the other values sit. So you do your values, and then one of the things I want you to think about, if you are in your 20s, you might think about it differently. What I want you to think about is, like, if God or the universe said, pick 5 things you're gonna focus on for the rest of your life. Don't worry about money. These 5 things, you make it. You get anything you want. You live the lifestyle you want. What would be those 5 things? If you are young, this will be a good thing to do. If you are older, you really need to pick these things to focus on, because you don't have that much time. But young, you may want to play here and there and figure out what you want. But again, if you can start at that stage, at the young stage, you really will be ahead of the game than most of us were at that stage. So because you might end up being what we call in French bricoleur par excellence, meaning you are just jack of all trades and master of none. So you want to focus on a few things. For me, one of the things I wanted to focus on was my spirituality. I wanted to know God. I wanted to be spiritually illumined, to grow spiritually. And hopefully it shows up through my books and the things that I do. I wanted to develop more healing, my gifting in healing. I help people with healing through food, nutrition, water. So I wanted to do that more. Let me drink a little water. So that was one of my 5 things. And along the way, I have ended up doing those things. So you pick what you want to do. If you want to end up in real estate, finances, become a lawyer, or change the world, be a philanthropist, write those things down, because you end up still doing other things, but this will be your guiding light, or else you'll be pulled all over the place. So once you have those things, so in your home environment, what are the things that you need to make sure your home environment is taken care of very well? So you want to list a few things that monthly you need. Maybe you need some repairs, you need some painting, you need to follow up on a few things, fix whatever you want to do that. Then work. In your career, you need to take a class, you need to study something, you need to build something, write a project plan. For that month, what do you need, what is it that you need to make sure that is taken care of that month? Leisure. I used to play soccer, other things. You want to go to the beach, play with kids, take some kids and train them and coach them. Whatever you need for hiking, there's so many things you can do in each area. So the idea is to take each of these areas and list what you want that needs to be done. You want to go to the gym, cook well, do some research on nutritional meals, healing meals, whatever is ailing you. I had a problem that I'm going to talk to you all about in my next program on health, where my face was just swelling and all that, and no doctor could help me until I figured it out recently. It's so crazy what I found out. And it's almost in everything that we eat. But being from where I am and eating really close to nature, when I started introducing certain things into my system, it didn't just work for me. And because they're not used to that here, they couldn't figure it out. So your well-being, what are you going to do? A spirituality, do you want to, join a spiritual group, read some spiritual books, go to a temple, find out more about God or whoever you worship? So once you do these things, because you need this every month, because I've worked with women who are divorced, and what they did, they went to church, they went to work, and they went with children. They hang out with their children. Not just the whole, so eventually the husband was gone. The husband wasn't, he was just a tool right there. She did. So that environment, eventually after a while, you can see that, it's not going to work. Eventually they had financial issues, a lot of health issues, stress issues, because they thought this is what they should focus on. I know it looks like a lot, but it's really not. Once you get a hang of this, believe me, this thing changed my life. I write books, I play soccer, I coach other people, voluntary work, I travel to Africa and I mentor because I did this. So once you do this, the next thing for me that works, I know we have the cell phone where you can put all your calendars online, you can do that too. I like a calendar that is a month at a glance. So what you do now, let me say you're gonna be exercising 4 times a week. So you take your monthly calendar. For every week, what days of the week are you going to be doing that? And you map that in. Eventually, you're not going to be writing it in, but initially, for you to get a hang of it, for that law of repetition to work so that the brain registers it, you have to write it down, you got to write it down, get the motion going, the physical, the sight, and all that going and let it register. So you do that, you put it in. The day you're gonna work on your finances because you gotta pay your bills, make sure the things are okay, go online, do whatever. You put that in also. Spiritual practice, if you gotta wake up every morning and do some meditations, you write that down. And then on Sunday, or you gotta buy a book, maybe every Tuesday night or every Monday night from 8 to 9 or 8 to 10, you're gonna focus on that. You wanna do that and then program that time. Believe me, this is so powerful. This little tool I'm giving you, if you receive it, and I'm giving it to you with all my heart, with all my blessings, it will change your life. When I started writing Love Under the Kola Nut Tree, it's a very big book. That I was doing it twice a week. I was doing it on Thursdays, and Tuesdays. Eventually I added Saturdays, and I ended up just writing the whole Saturday. I was doing it two nights a week. Just schedule some time, come home, make sure, because once you do that programming, you're gonna change the time you leave work on time. You're gonna make sure you catch that train or that bus. You're gonna have short discussions because you're not just gonna sit there on the phone and so many other things. The TV programs, you're going to realize that the TV programs you are watching, it's just somebody on the job that you're watching them. You gotta pick the ones you wanna watch that are educational or go to movies more often. So the time you're gonna spend with your husband, your loved ones, your children, because your children need your energy. It's not just you're in the same house. They need presence. They need your presence, your time, your listening, your ability, your hugs, your touch. They need that. You have to do it consciously. Your girlfriends, you can meet once a month. Your buddies from school, football. Guys, see women who get married and then they stop the guys from going for football. That corrosion. Remember in the last section we talked about corrosion? Where you keep corroding the relationship. Imagine the relationship is a structure. Here you keep corroding it. Every day you do something, you're corroding the relationship. You're losing it little by little. Eventually there's nothing left there. It's all gone. And then you're like, oh, I don't have a relationship anymore because you were corroding little by little. So if you don't do this and have a life, you're gonna become needy in a relationship. You're gonna want somebody else to make your life happy. I talked to a lady recently. She's very happy in a relationship. She finally met somebody who is great, but she complained to me that she wanted to go to breakfast with a person and they couldn't. And I told her, this is a Saturday. This person just coming from work, they need to take time for themselves. Maybe they have a meditation practice they do. Maybe they do yoga or stretches in the morning. They need to clear their head, reset. Like we talked in another chapter, just changing the environment, resetting. In fact, it's in my book, Happy. So, and then also, I explained to her that if you meet somebody dating, for the first time, the first few months, you're not going to be able to have a lot of them. Because if they already have mapped out their life, into future, the lot of projects that they're working on, initially for the first 2, 3, 4, 6 months, it's going to be very hard to have focus time on you. And you want somebody like that, which means they are worth their grain of salt. They're not going to be needy and possessive. They have a mission. They know there's a purpose to life. They didn't come just to hang out and sit on the chair and be kissing you and hugging you around the clock. Because eventually, that's going to die. On the TCP IP stack, that's just a physical layer. And you have to keep moving up. That's life. Everything, move to a higher level. So you want somebody, if that person is there at that level, you want to communicate on the phone, you want to do emails, talk, and then at that time you're also vetting them out. You listening and hearing them and seeing where the relationship goes. Because you see a lot of relationships just get started and then they break because you haven't had time to really get in there and know people and settle and accept